My best approach is to secure my base of operations, as opposed to going into the Silverite mines. Is to build myself out, do some more scouting and skirmishing, see what else I can gather up before I start doing the main operations, like Kalhara, tracking down Kristoff, and I think there's some location with some affiliation with the Black Marshes, and going into the Silverite mine. The Winding Wood was a good scouting operation. It gave me a feel for what these guys can do. I'm going to wait on using Sir Myrie until later. I'll talk to everybody and then.
You need anything, Commander?
Let me see what you have. Sell some stuff. Okay. Alright. Let's go talk to everybody. Actually, you know what? If I'm going to be fighting Darkspawn, everyone needs to be checked out. So I'm going to go and very briefly talk to Valana.
I envy you sometimes.
There are a bunch of people dead who should not be dead because of what you did. You should not have done that. You should have been calmer, more rational. You're not as bad as Zathrian because you didn't know. And you did not set out to trade the lives of your own people to fulfill your revenge. But what you should have thought things through. You should have demonstrated more caution, prudence, and deliberation. You were, from what I understand, the leader of those elves. And it is strange you've gone off by yourself with them. That usually doesn't happen with the Dalish. Part of the reason I'm holding off on using you is because I need to work through what I think of you.
Your children will have heard of at least a half a dozen of your paragons before the age of 3. These tales are taken for granted. They are so abundant. Oh, it makes me angry sometimes. We Dalish have lost most of our history and our legends. What we do remember, we hold dear.
Not this poor us crap. Okay, yeah, you've had a lot of problems. Here's the deal. City elves have it worse, and we had it worse. Do you know why we had it worse? The stories that you've been able to save elevate you. They speak of the nobility of your people, of its adventures, of its triumphs and its tragedies, and its desire to overcome and endure. The city elves have lost far more. But our stories, to the extent that they mention us at all, say that we're scum, say that we're trash, say that we're dirt, say that we're nothing, say that we should not even have been born, say that we are a mistake. Your stories don't damn you and condemn you the same way our stories do, and the way those stories are hammered in. And that's if you're fortunate enough to hear a story anyway, because guess what? You got to steal from dogs to survive, if there is a dog, or you got to steal from nug droppings to survive, because everyone thinks you're trash. You're lucky to even know anything, because what? You think they educate us? The only reason I'm literate is because Rika, my sister, and I were considered as noble hunters. I very temporarily. It became very obvious that my strengths lay elsewhere. But I was able to work with her to ensure that I got educated as well. I even became a better reader than her. And I'm interested in studying the old stories and of all peoples. But your problem, like so many Dalish, is you think you have it tougher than anyone else in the world, but you don't. And you don't do that much to really help them. Oh, sure, if an elf wanders to you, then you will. But you look down on them. When I think something from what I understand, you were the nobility. And you kind of abandoned them. You are not the person who's had it tough, because when you hear stories, they're noble stories. And you have storytellers. I've met them, like Sorrel. And I've been able to look them up. The Chantry and others have stories. There are ways to trade for those. Hell, I would help you do it. I have no problem with sharing your stories with you or anyone else. But imagine if all the stories tell you that you're crap and you're not worth anything. Or that you have to be this incredibly noble anomaly who every once in a while emerges and becomes a paragon out of the castles, which almost never happens. And everyone has an interest, even if they run into a really good guy who can do those sorts of things, in not allowing to happen. Because what noble wants another noble family to compete with them? What warrior caste wants to have the castle, some castle suddenly recognized as a fighter that threatens their special status? Or the smith class, or the merchant caste, or the servant caste. Particularly the servant caste. They don't want us anywhere near there because that threatens their own position. You have no idea how lucky you have it. Yes, I know it's terrible what happened to you. Yes, it was wrong. The destruction of the Dales was wrong. The destruction of Arlessa was wrong. But you can't see beyond yourself. And if I work with you, it will only be to stop you from becoming like Zathrian. Because the thinnest of threads that allows me to work with you is the fact you didn't realize it. And for the first time ever, you were confronted with the extraordinary situation of Darkspawn that had sentient thought. Which is incredible. Never happened. Okay, that's the only reason that I'm going to use you. And hope that I can somehow change who you are. And rehabilitate you. We can share stories. They belong to everyone. And I am more than willing to share every single story I've ever come across about elves with you. And to compare the different stories.
But does a human child value the tale of the Paragon Idukan as much as he does Dane and the werewolf? Stories connect us to our past. They shape a people in profound ways. Without them, we're lost. I just wish I could do something to restore this lost part of our soul.
You have stories. Maybe your entire culture has lost a lot of stories, which it has, and which I'm more than happy to help you with. And there are ways to trade with these people to get access to stories that may be found in the Shaperate, because they will save those stories. And there's merchant; they'd be more willing to trade for that. And there are, even the Chantry has some stories, probably not the most nicest sounding stories, but at least you don't have stories that tell you you're garbage, that you're nothing, that you're a mistake, that you shouldn't have been born. When I went to the Dalish camp, you had all these stories about your different gods, like Gillenon and Elgernon and Felindin, and the story of the Dread Wolf, who tricked them all, and of the Hala, and June and Andril. So there are more stories. There are more stories. And you've been able to do this through an oral tradition, which you could supplement by also writing them down. And there was written materials. And even if humans or dwarves don't appreciate it as much, so what? So what? That doesn't mean you don't appreciate their stories so much. And you can find those stories, and they do exist. Make your own stories.
Now you're just being ridiculous. Let's get on with the day.
Well, at least she liked part of it. Maybe I'll be able to get through to her. Maybe I'll be able to get through to her. You know what? You know what? I can't give her this yet. Because maybe she won't be able to make her own stories. Because she may not survive the journey. So let's just do it. Mahiri was saved by the sacrifice of the soul of the spirit of sacrifice. That's what saved Mahiri. I'm trying to see if she's got any back. Does she have any more of her mind back?
Once I become a Grey Warden
Nope.
in truth, I hope we can repay these monsters for what they've done here.
Commander.
Another wish is to undertake the joining.
I'll make the preparations.
From this moment forth, Velana, you are a Grey Warden.
Survive. Survive. Survive, damn it. No more death. Okay. Okay, good. Good.
She yet draws breath, Commander. She will recover.
Good. 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 And during our travels in the deep roads, there's no reason that we can't come across dwarven stories or possibly even elven stories and then trade them with the Shapered and see if we can make arrangements with the Shapered to get stuff, to get stories possibly that involve elves back. Like maybe the story of the Topsider and the Topsider's honor that I ran across I could tell you about. Of the dwarf who went and worked with the Legion of the Dead. And fought and was honorable and honored with being buried. And Topsider's honor, the sword that came from that. Which was used in battle. Topsider's honor, which was used in battle. And is back there working with troops. Or was taken, I think Leliana has it. Maybe I can contact Leliana and I can get Topsider's honor back. Historian's Might is still with Alistair and it's going to stay with him. But perhaps I can go and get Topsider's honor from, I think Leliana was left in charge of that and she can come and bring it. And then maybe we can pass it on to the elves. And if not, I think maybe Zevran has it. If I'm able to find Zevran, maybe I can get after him on that. But I think Leliana has it.
I would like some time to myself.
You've lived. You've survived the joining, so guess what?
What? This book is empty. Why have you given me this useless object?
I get it. I get it now. I get it. I now understand and appreciate. I understand and appreciate. Yes. Yes. I get it now. I understand and appreciate what you're missing, what you don't see, and how you think and don't realize certain things because you're so wrapped up in the tragedy of the Dalish, which is a genuine tragedy. You have agency. You just need direction, positive direction. You are going to fill that book.
Fill it with what? Recipes for roast boar and pudding?
Stories for the Dalish.
Stories? For the... Oh, that's the silliest idea I've heard. But brilliant at the same time. The Dalish will never recover what we've lost. It may be time to start creating tales anew. Perhaps one day, they will be what connects my children and their children to their past. To me. I see now that this is a gift to be treasured. And I thank you. I would like some time to myself.
There's hope for you, so I'm going to change things up. In some ways, this is so hard. I was going to use Sigrun, but I'm going to be honest. Sigrun had about 60 to 62 kills. I used him in the last fight. I'm not going to use Sigrun.
I don't think we should dally here.
I wish I could tell the first enchanter I'm a Grey Warden now. Maker, I hated that bastard.
I'm going to do things differently. Myri, you're going to stay here with Sigrun for the time being. I will use Sigrun later, but I'm not going to use him now. I'm going to use him for something different. And I'm still securing the base of operations. Show me Sigrun. Give me this. Give me this. I'm going to sell those searing pocketed gloves.
You need anything, Commander?
Let's see what you have. I will use you later, Sigrun. But I have new people that I need to help. I hope you understand. I was not thinking. She represents power. She represents power. Papers, vestments. Okay. I'll give you the war boots. Yeah. The heart of the forest. That fits you. The Magister Lord, that fits your personality and appreciation for Tevinter in a manner which I do not share. When you use Winter's Grasp, you'll want to use it powerful. You want the powerful version. Sure. Nice band, ring of study. Sure. So for the time being, there are a few things that I need to do. I don't think he has a cowl. do that. And I don't care if it makes her mad. She needs to learn to appreciate what she's done. All right. Probably using Sigrun before I use you, Sigrun. No. Sigrun. I've never been this indecisive before, and it really frustrates and bothers me because I should not be. I should not be this frustrated and indecisive. It is really an issue. And I just have to sort of dive in and do it. Okay.
You need anything, Commander?
Let's go.
Yes.
Velana, we need to discipline you.
Yes. Andraste's blood.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
For some reason, Nathaniel and Volana both are very angry. But I know that there's nobility within Nathaniel, and I'm wondering if Volana... She seems like a frustrated leader, and maybe... Zathrian was essentially a noble. The Keepers are nobles. She reminds me of a Keeper. She has that same kind of noble arrogance at times, but also a sense of duty and responsibility. Noblesse oblige can be positive or negative. I think that Nathaniel, the human noble, might be good for dealing with the Dalish version of a noble lord or keeper, which is the Keeper. Don't ask me to explain this. It's just intuitive. I don't know. We shall see.
So you not only gave up on killing the Grey Warden who murdered your father, You actually joined the Order.
Are you trying to pick a fight, Velana? Baiting me like this is juvenile.
I just wanted to know how you felt.
How do you feel knowing you murdered all those people because you were too arrogant to check your facts?
Warm and fuzzy.
Liar.
You're a terrible person. And your ears are clownish.
What? Who's juvenile now?
Normally, I don't like bigoted insults, but you deserve that, Velana. You deserve that, Velana. Normally, I don't like bigoted insults, but you deserve that. I will talk to him about that. Nathaniel, lay off the race-specific insults. Even if she did deserve it for what she's done. The elves as a whole don't deserve it, even if she does. So you made your point. It was a good one. Don't make points like that anymore. Bigotry is wrong in general. Even though she deserved to be brought up short because of what she'd done. And what she was trying to very cavalierly laugh away and dismiss. That's not acceptable. Group heal's always good. Your cunning could use more work. I'm going to beef that cunning up. And I got to get the dexterity up as well, I know. Yeah, and she gains additional damage based on cunning anyway. Although we do have to get the dexterity. She does good damage. Yeah. No. The strength will always outweigh her cunning, so there's no point to that part. Get her dexterity up. Previous. Okay. And we will definitely get to the unending flurry with time. Get everybody set up. That death hex is going to be nice when I get it.
Finally, something I'm good at.
And another thing. Normally I'm very touchy about using the poisons, but honestly, I think I'm going to be much more open to using them. let's go. Go to Amaranthine. Yeah, Valana, you might as well meet Mervis. Maybe you'll start to understand what you did.
You're back. Have you any news?
It would not be good to tell him that an elf is ambushing it. He has, on the one hand, a right to know the truth. They all have a right to know the truth. The problem is then any elves there become fair game because they think, oh, elves ambushed and murdered a whole bunch of us. Gee, I guess this elf is probably one of them too. Let's not take any chances and kill the elf. Or elves. So no. We can't tell him that. What we can tell him is, I've dealt with your problem. The killing should stop now.
Really? Oh, that's wonderful news. I hope the culprits have been brought to justice.
They have, in a sense.
I promised a donation, didn't I? Here, take this. With the Merchants Guild's compliments.
Now, the most decent thing to do would be to give it to the families of the slain. The problem with doing that is that I need the money to fund rebuilding this entire province and the war effort, dealing with the conspiracy, dealing with the Darkspawn, all of which is going to cost money. Things are more expensive now. But on the other hand, it feels kind of lousy to ask him for more money, given what happened. Because I'm sure I could get more out of him, but I don't want to do that. Thank you.
If there is anything else the Merchants Guild can do for the Grey Wardens, do not hesitate to ask. It was a pleasure to meet you, Warden Commander.
Pleasure to meet you too. I might as well get on good terms with them, and Mervis seems like a good lot, and a lot of people died. And I wasn't really truly able to bring her. I chose not to truly bring her to justice. Okay.
So good to see you again. It seems I owe you a reward, yes? Yes, of course.
Okay. Okay. That all worked well. Not being too greedy worked well.
This is a beautiful tree. I did not expect to find one strong and thriving in a Shetland town.
Nature always finds a way.
Nature does indeed. You may not recognize, but this is a Dal Amithal, the tree of Mythal. Our keeper's staves are cut from its like. Our keeper, Ilshe, had a staff cut for me, for when I would take on her role.
Would she? The person she was then, who did the things she did, in that impulsive manner, behaving precipitously, without cost to the implications of people's living or dead. I don't like the keeper system to begin with. I don't even know if there can be a good keeper. Maybe Lanaya was a good keeper. But I think more prudence and calm and deliberation is required to be a good keeper. I know that for me to lead, did you never become a keeper?
Clearly not. And besides, why do you care? Enough of this. I wish to move on.
She often approves of what I say, and reacts with hostility to cover it. I get it.
I shall do it.
First,
Give shelter to the weary and lift up the weak. In time, the Maker will see and smile upon your deeds.
tough, Alana. You're going to have to learn to deal with people. This is part of your penalty. I'm glad you approve. I'm glad I did something you didn't agree with. That was right. You deserve it. Because of what you did. And you're going to have to learn to live with that. And to accept that. And to deal with that. Like the rest of us did. Because I certainly learned to deal with it as a matter of course as Castless. And if you can't, then how fortunate you were to live in a privileged position, albeit among a discriminated group. But I can guarantee to you there were a lot of city elves who would have wished to have been in your place. This is part of your learning as well. Learning to accept people doing things you don't like. My brothers and sisters in the Maker, cruel thugs are preying upon the men and women who take refuge outside the city walls, threatening these poor. I'm going to wait on that. I'm going to wait on that. Okay.
All men are the work of our Maker's hands, from the lowest slaves to the highest kings.
Looks like you're finally starting to get over yourself, Alana, and accept that that helps people. Even if they're not elves, and even if you don't like the Chantry, and there are things about the Chantry I do not like, it does do positive things. I'm glad that you did not look down upon that. I suppose it is something to work forward to. Draining mana constantly is not something that I find appealing. Then I'm going to do that. Okay.
You? Going to get me kicked out of Amaranthine too?
I know that nothing I say will make things better, so I want to give you this.
A ring. What is this, a proposal? You're not my type.
It'll fetch a fair price, even on the surface, to help you rebuild your life.
This looks like the crest of House Volney. Stole this off a noble, did you?
Keep the ring. I'll give Misha some gold.
How much are we talking? I reckon this thing's worth at least 20 sovereigns.
Then take 30.
You've a true friend here, Sigrun. Try not to ruin it. And here's your ring. It must be important to you.
It is. Thank you, Misha.
This will go a long way. I could start another business. You've done right, Sigrun.
Yes, I could have let her give the ring. But there are things about Sigrun that worry me. She's too ready to throw herself away now because of the guilt she feels about the past. I have to find ways to build in her a sense of her own personal worth and value. That 30 gold is worth it, I think. I hope.
You're the first elf I've ever known. Do you feel honored? Why would I feel honored? Your actions will influence my opinions of your race. Forever.
Oh, thank you. I needed more anxiety.
Glad to help.
Ah, a brewing conspiracy is associated with this suspicious guard. I'm going to presume that the individual in question is the Dark Wolf.
I see you got my letter, Commander. It's an honor to meet you.
The Dark Wolf, I presume?
In the flesh. The less you know of me, the better. But by some, I am called the Dark Wolf. In the depths of the city, there is murmuring. Murmuring that nobles want you dead. I'd like to help.
I'm not going to be petty. You know, I am actually the Dark Wolf. Let's see what his reaction is.
You are? I thought perhaps the first Dark Wolf was killed or imprisoned.
I am very much alive.
You must admit that your current position does not leave time for shadow games.
True.
You see, I have hopes that the Wardens will prove more fit to rule this land than the late Arlessa Howe. His confederates are the conspirators. But to unearth their identities, I'll need resources. 50 sovereigns.
Well, thank you for working with me, Overend Howe. So you're doing this out of a sense of civic duty?
Corrupt, miserly nobles have beggared many a proud commoner.
True.
Some commoners turn to distasteful occupations just to survive.
True.
Is it not fitting that they would want to strike back in the only way they're able?
I like you. Then 50 sovereigns it is.
It will be done. Give me some time.
I like you, buddy. I'm going to wait on Kristoff, and I'm going to wait on that Kristoff for the moment.
Cheer up. No one loves a grump.
For a dead woman, you're remarkably perky.
I could be less perky if you like. The darkness of the deep roads has seeped into my soul. The world is dead. My heart is black. Alas. Whoa. Whoa.
Let's stick to
Oh, my little sister, my twin sister. I love you, my twin sister. You are fantastic. She is my twin sister. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, my twin sister is so adorably wonderful.
Doors busted down, skulls thumped, and vices preyed upon. But I have answers.
Fantastic. That was quick.
My services are expensive for a reason. I could not unearth the conspirators' identities. They are paranoid. But I know they meet at Old Stark's farm on the Ferroval Plains.
Okay. You have lived up to your reputation, sir.
Maker be with you.
Thank you. Because I'm going to get this out of the way in medium method. I need a secure base of operations, and how can I go after the enemy when I'm worried about being stabbed in the back? Okay.
Andraste's blood.
I want someone who I... Okay. For some reason, I think Sir Myery will be good for this. Just one thing we're going to do.
Nug pellets.
Okay. Here's actually what we're going to...
do you want from me?
Thunder Humper?
Yes.
Old Stark's farm. Abandoned farms dot the war-torn Farewell Plains. The nobles who plot against you have apparently chosen one such landholding. Old Stark's farm is a meeting place for their conspiracy. A brewing conspiracy. Eliminate those plotting against you. Comes from field.
Very well.
I'm ready.
Oh. Valana. Hit him with that.
I am a Mike of a Dalish!
Okay. All right. Try it.
Need me for something?
Fenwich with wolves. Interesting. Rather ominous to... I guess the Fenwich set them on fires. Fire to... help advance her assault.
Hear that? There's something out there.
You know what we're gonna do? Okay, that helps. Okay. What are you doing?
Yes. I'm here. My magic is at your command.
Okay. They're doing good so far.
I am ready.
Okay. Dealt with a conspiracy.
It shall be done.
Crow assassin.
I shall
Lisa,
do it.
Lady Paxton. Lord Guy. And there's also a Sir Timothy. Okay. One. Okay. Well. Well, this is a nice little farmland area. I want to take it back away from the Darkspawn so that people will come here and farm again. Make it safe. Brewing conspiracy is done. Let's see, it comes from beneath. Alright. Let's go. City of Amaranthine again. Okay. Got a little idea on what I'm going to do. Ransomed. The Black Marsh. Let me check something.
It shall be done.
Hello, it is us, the Bite Fan Orphans again. Did you know that Hubert's gang across town got their hands on a bunch of moonshine? Our nurse says that Hubert is a stupid whoring bastard, and that us orphans would find a better use for the moonshine. She says using strong drink like that in our skin knees would stop the maggots from growing on them. Please get us the moonshine? Sure. Sermons of Justinia II, written on a scrap of paper in large letters. Reverend Mother Leanna is such a wise lady, and she's always telling us what to do because she's such a preachy lady. We would like to get her book. I wonder what Bee Lady means. your book so we can learn from it. It's called The Sermons of Justinian II, or something like that. Please, thanks, bye. Okay. Moonshine for the children. The fat orphans. They get Hubert's moonshine to better use. Relieve Hubert of the moonshine. Get Leanna's sermon book for the light orphans. Blight orphans like to borrow revered mother Leanna's copy of the sermon. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Andraste's blood.
Let's see.
Yes.
This sounds a bit more dodgy, so. That would be good. Previous. Okay. Yeah. All right. The archer looses a special shaft that scores an automatic triple critical hit against the targeted enemy, then shatters, inflicting half those unfortunate enough to be in the vicinity. Friendly fire possible. Okay. All right. This one. That's one before I get used to. Hubert's Den. Okay, let's check out Hubert's Den.
What's next?
They won't see me coming.
This guy. This is nice. Okay. That's a much... It's a much better class of pant boots. Okay.
Hey, you can't just barge in here.
Come on. Oh, never mind.
Let's teach this fool a lesson.
Okay.
Ready and waiting.
So I assume some gang members had me take out some other gang members. Dragon Piss. The name is probably figurative, but no one knows for sure. Ah, Arlessa, that sounds like it'd be delightful for you and charming. Create a moonshine. Hubert wasn't happy about your attempt to steal his moonshine, but you dealt with him. The Blight orphans are eagerly awaiting their delivery. Okay.
As you said.
Killing for your amusement and mine. Well, let's see. Okay. Yeah, there's a reason why I took these guys for the next part. Well, here we go. Speaking of which... A wise man once told me never to argue with someone better armed than the entire warrior caste on parade. Sigrun is a member of the Legion of the Dead, warriors exiled from Orzammar and sent on suicide missions against the Darkspawn. The Warden Commander found Sigrun fleeing a Darkspawn next in Kal Haral, the last survivor of her group. She has broken the Legion's oath by not fighting to her death. Sigrun joined Natia to destroy the Darkspawn nest. After Kal Haral was purged of Darkspawn, Sigrun agreed to join the Grey Wardens. She survived the joining. Sigrun bumped into Misha, an acquaintance from Orzammar. Misha once took Sigrun in, putting the castle's thief to work. But Sigrun betrayed Misha in return. Sigrun felt guilty that Misha was exiled to the surface and became determined to make up for her mistake. Sigrun is fascinated by the surface world. She collects little curios from all over Thedas. Sigrun apologized to Misha and gave her a ring, her only valuable possession. But Natia recognized that the ring had great sentimental value to Sigrun and compensated Misha instead. Misha said she tried to forgive her old friend. Good. I know a human crime when I see it. I've experienced more than enough of them. But you got the last human crime wrong, and a bunch of innocent humans died. Volana wreaked havoc in the Wending Wood, murdering humans who crossed her path to terrorize the nearby villages into releasing her sister. However, Nadia discovered that Darkspawn were to blame for Volana's sister's disappearance. Hoping to rescue her sister, Volana offered to help the Warden Commander destroy the Darkspawn. Volana was upset to discover that her sister Sarani was working willingly with the Architect. She pledged herself to the Grey Wardens and survived the joining. Okay. Volana is fond... I know a human crime when I see it. I've experienced more than enough of them. Not really. Volana wreaked havoc because there's a bunch of dead humans who are totally innocent of the crime that you thought they did. Volana wreaked havoc in the Wending Wood, murdering humans who crossed her path to terrorize the nearby villages into releasing her sister. However, Nadia discovered that Darkspawn were to blame for Volana's sister's disappearance. Hoping to rescue her sister, Volana offered to help the Warden Commander destroy the Darkspawn. Volana is fond of the color green, as well as items that remind her of elven culture and nature. Okay. Now we've got...
I shall do it.
Get Leanna's sermon book for the Blight Orphans. You found the sermons of Justinian II in the chantry. Leave it in the Blight Orphans collection box.
Have you delivered your annual tithe to the chantry, sir? You may be overdue.
Now I don't feel so bad about taking it.
The guards. They won't let anyone into the city, but it's dangerous outside the walls.
Handbills. Please keep Amaranthine clean. Okay. What am I doing next? Oh, I know. Okay. Another donation. Oh, well, Nathaniel. Sorry, buddy.
Very well.
The scavenger hunt. Some of us orphans lost our things while playing in the streets last night. We have so little in life that these things are very important to us. Our nurse says that since someone is looking out for us, we should ask for help. We lost a pitchfork, a hammer, the soles of a pair of shoes, and something appears to be scratched out here, a doll. We'd also like a pie. Please help us. A present from Melissa. Scribbled hastily on a crumpled piece of paper. Someone should do something about crazy harpies who get hysterical trying to kill people or just trying to have a bit of fun. It's probably her sister's fault. She's just as insane as Melissa is. And someone should do something about her too, except she lives in Denham and is far away. The sentence has been scratched out here. The Blight Blight orphans are afraid of this crazy lady Melissa. Someone should scare her away. With a scarecrow in front of her house, with a knife. A crude map showing the direction to Melissa's house is drawn below. Poor scared Blight orphans. Okay. Every day is Halloween. Trick or treat. Okay.
How do you stand living under all that rock?
I don't understand. We just do.
Orzammar is under a mountain. Just thinking about the crushing weight of a mountain overhead makes me shudder.
Surfacers live in buildings. If a building falls on you, it will make you just as dead.
Thanks for the reminder.
Good one, Sigrun. I guess they look at that mountain the same way we think about that big old empty sky that we're going to fall down, fall away. A hammer, the soles of a pair of shoes, a doll, and a pie. I have an idea on where the pie is. Oh no, the pie is over here. Okay. A pie. Sole shoes. Doll.
Very well.
Now we need a hammer. Okay, somebody tossed their hammer way up there. Okay. You managed to find lost pitchfork, hammer, soles, shoes, and a doll. You also found a pie. The orphans should be happy once you return their possessions. Okay. Alright. You return the items you found to the Blight fan orphans. Okay, so now we've got to give Melissa a present. Scarecrow with a knife in front of house by scare. First you need to find a knife.
Did you see those things throwing
Kitchen knife.
I wish I had a mysterious benefactor. Dirk's been in a fight with his girl. You know anything about that?
Yeah. She was pestering him about making an honest woman of her. So the dumb bastard says, I'll marry you when you figure out how to make whiskey come out of your tits. Oh.
Poor girl.
Heard she wrecked 2 windows and most of her west wall trying to get at him with a pitchfork.
Yeah. Now a bunch of things make sense.
It is begun.
Yeah, I know they're not really orphaned, but what the heck? Scarecrow would be in a field somewhere close by. That means I gotta go outside. There's the Scarecrow. Okay. You found a Scarecrow. You also have a suitable knife. Now it's time to find a Scarecrow outside Melissa's house. Alright. There's the soft ground. Ah, Sigrun didn't like that, but Sigrun did. Yeah. Okay. Okay. On a greasy piece of parchment that appears to have been ripped from religious text. Thank you for the book. We have a lot of fun with it. We also want to say a big thank you to Mother Liana for lending us the book. We got something for her. It's a bunch of herbs we gathered ourselves. They're in the basket. Can someone put the herbs in Liana's bed? It'll be a nice surprise for her. And make her bed smell like roses and lavender. Yeah, sure, I bet it will. Making amends. The Scarecrow was great, except someone knocked it over and smashed Melissa's tomato plants. We saw Melissa crying over her lost tomatoes, and we were very sorry. We poor orphans children who did our right for wrong. We want to say sorry to Melissa. She likes flowers, but we want to make sure Melissa doesn't come at us with a rake like she did last time. So we can't deliver the flowers ourselves. Will someone find some flowers and put them in front of Melissa's house for us? Okay. Okay. Well, okay. Oh, and there's flowers. Perfect. For Melissa. Yeah, I feel bad that I scared Melissa. Oh, well. Yeah, Sigrun and Nathaniel don't like what I'm doing. Oh, well. I'll make it up to them later. Here's something that they should like. Okay. Sorry, Melissa. Yeah, tomato plants are good. There we go. Tomato plants are good. I like tomato plants.
almost feel sorry. You could tell she wanted to strip down and roll around scratching herself.
Ugh, please, no one needs to see that.
No, they don't. Men. I do not like them. Well, that's not true. Not all men, but some. Yeah, some are just wretched. Not all, but some. For the time being. After I clear out the ground below, then I'll probably come back and do... I'll probably come back here. I want to go back home and... Alright.
You have a request.